Hey there folks and friends, Connecting Dots here. It's Friday, March 7, 2014. Not sure if you caught my video up here just a couple of days ago here regarding YouTuber Thomas Brinkley. His real name turns out is Michael Cravey, or was Michael Cravey. Michael was assassinated. I've got a lot more information. I've done a lot more digging on that. And yes, I'd uploaded here a video just 2 days ago, March 5th, about this bombshell. I had to make it private, unfortunately. I see some people have seen it. I was contacted. I've got a lot more here, folks. I'll get into that at the end of this video. But first, I want to start off here. I uploaded this video here on Fukushima Liars. You may see at the end of that title on Fukushima Day 1088. And, I tried to make a point there. Not only that I proved that some of them were lying here about me trying to discredit me, and this all started with this recent Edward Snowden files that talks about these government agents that are trying to, take control of the movement, the truth movement. It's very apparent here, and make matters worse, we got one of the biggest nuclear shills ever here, Fairwinds Education, Energy and Education. Pfft, education, misinformation, and I'm going to prove that here in a second here. Now, what's odd about this, he goes on, he starts telling you, and I'm talking about Mr. Arnie Gunderson here, in case you don't know who I'm speaking of, and I'll get into that in a second here. So basically, he owns Fairwinds Energy Education, and he's there to educate you. He calls himself an expert. Even on CNN, they refer to him as an expert. He's not an expert, unfortunately, and we've caught him a multitude of times in lies. Personally, I don't advertise anything that comes out of that mouth, and which is the point I've been trying to stress here. Why would you want to fill your head up with a bunch of bullshit and then try to filter it out and figure out what's the truth of it? I'm sorry here, but there's some of us who get it right time and time again, and there's some of us that are out here making money and discredit and lying by misinformation. And it came very clear to me with Arnie Gunderson. Now, what's odd about this one here, he's talking about the New Mexico and how the storage site is loaded with this plutonium and americium, but it doesn't matter, folks, because you know what? According to him, the nuclear industry can store nuclear waste for safely, according to him, for thousands of years. Heck, they can't even do it for 100 years. And he's out here telling you now the dangers of it. And I got very suspicious here. Back on CNN, many of you may remember here, where they just released here how there was 10 hot particles per day. In Seattle, people were breathing in that many per day on average, and if you lived in Seattle, you're breathing in half of that. Let me play some of the interview here, and I'll show you how this guy's a liar.
Now what we're finding are these things called hot particles, and in the industry we call them fuel fleas, because they're incredibly small. They're smaller than the thickness of your hair. In Tokyo in April, measurements indicate that there's about 10 hot particles per day in what a normal person would breathe. And it's interesting because in Seattle, it didn't go down that much. It was about 5 hot particles a day.
Now remember, it only takes one hot particle for it to develop into cancer. I'm not saying that every hot particle you breathe in will turn into cancer, but it only takes one. And people in Seattle were breathing in 5 of them on average per day.
Because most of the time, as we talked about back in April, the wind was blowing toward the west coast. That's why we were warning to wash your lettuce and things like that.
Are you really going to protect yourself from radiation by washing your lettuce and taking your shoes off? I don't think so, but let's listen some more to them.
Now what that means is that these hot particles can lodge in your lung or in your digestive tract or your bone, and over time cause a cancer. But they're way too small to be picked up on a large radiation detector.
And so, do you believe there are enough of them that people in the west coast of the United States need to be worried, or is it a very minor concern?
So at this point, what do you think he should answer? Yes, they should be worried. But listen to him lie by omission and bullshit his way out of this one, folks.
Well, the average person breathes in about 10 cubic meters a day.
This is where he sidesteps. This is like a politician here, Instead of giving you a straight-up answer, starts breaking it down. We don't care how many cubic meters we breathe in. You're being asked, should we be concerned about this? The answer was yes, but no, let's continue on here, what he's going to fill you up with.
And the filters out there for April show that they were breathing in per day about 5 particles. Now, these are charged, which is why we call them fuel fleas, too, and they latch onto lung tissue. I'm still advising my friends to wash all of your vegetables to make sure you can get it off. But short of that, we're at a point now where you just can't run from the particles that are still in the air.
And that is true. You can't run from them. And anyone who was subscribed to me back in 2011 under Connecting Dots 1 here, before they pulled my YouTube channel on me, I was having a nightly talk show with, I had a guest there who had worked at a nuclear plant on Lake Ontario, and he'd worked there 13 years. And when this information first came out, I remember that night, I'll never forget it, he'd said, I hope he's not referring to fuel fleas. We had not heard this interview yet. We'd only seen the report that these hot particles were out, and the guy that was on the radio show, he says, like, I hope he's not referring to what we referred to as fuel fleas. And sure enough, as you heard in this interview, it was fuel fleas. The guy went on to tell us that the only way you can protect yourself from fuel fleas is to have a positive pressure environment. That means you have to have a HEPA filter that's blowing in lots of air into your home, so therefore when you open up the door, the air is dying to get out. This advice that this so-called nuclear expert was telling folks about washing their vegetables and taking their shoes off at the door, hogwash. And I got very suspicious here long ago, because as we found out later on, he gets his contracts here, his safety contracts, from the nuclear industry. And oddly enough, at the beginning of that same interview, guess what he says?
They're calculating what these exposures were. How could they not know? I think there was some confusion, and there's some cultural issues too with the Japanese. But the biggest problem is this combination of being a regulator and a promoter of nuclear power.
And that's his problem. He's there as a safety officer getting contracts from the nuclear industry, and out here telling you to wash your vegetables and take your shoes off at the door to protect yourself from hot radioactive particles. So I'm going to promote someone that's truthful, and oddly enough here, that video, here I am telling about truthful people. Anyone to watch a video here on Fukushima did 1088, busting Fukushima liars. I talked about Miss Melky the Clown, Missing Sky, Stacy Lane 74, caught them all in their lies. Go watch the video. I don't want to deal with these people. I'm here for the honesty and the truth, and they don't have it. Okay, so if you want somebody who's honest, this fellow here, he's been putting his heart into it, not giving you crappy advice. And his most recent video here, as you can see, is the 3rd and 4th floor of reactor number 1. It's no big bombshell information, but I'm just trying to promote somebody that's truthful. You can listen to who you want. Now, continuing on here, because the big information, did you see this one here, how the teachers are now, they've been asked to become active targets in a shooter's drill? Unbelievable. Seriously, I was like, whoa, hold on a second, because this all ties into the Batman shooting, the Connecticut shooting. Yes, I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but this all came about in August 2013 here, when these Missouri State Legislature took a cue from a handful of post-Sandy hand lawmakers like the ones in Illinois and Arkansas, and voted to require every school district to conduct a simulated shooter drill. Are you for real? Seriously, a shooter's drill? Come on, my father was a firefighter for 37 years, and I'm all for fire drills, maybe even an earthquake drill, but seriously, shooter drills? Now, I got some footage here. Wait till you see what these people are up to. It's I don't know what to say, really. It's nothing but fear-mongering.
You think you know what's going to happen, but you don't. And then I saw the gunman, right in front of me. I stopped, and I meant to run. The adrenaline gets to you. But I was kind of frozen in my spot, and he shot me, and I was like, I died, so. I start to think, what if this would happen?
Of course, they're all going to start thinking, scaring the crap out of our kids, and it wasn't until 4 teachers contacted the Missouri prosecutor attorney's office that the school officials came out and said, okay, well, the teachers could sign up and work in department meetings and in other professional developmental opportunities. Of course, we don't need to participate and scare our kids in this crap. And oddly enough, it all happens at the same time. Perfect timing, eh? Thomas dies, all about gun control, and here we are, what?
Back here at home, a big headline turning up, and the heat is on the gun debate in America. Today we learned Facebook and Instagram will crack down on the number of illegal guns sold online. some of them weapons bought by children.
I seriously, come on. Can you see them fear-mongering here? Some of them bought by children. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, folks. But, you know, I got some bombshell information. And this fellow here, who I'm sitting on the fence on this one. I've contacted him. I'm waiting for him to contact me. And it's odd enough here. I've tried to contact several of these big YouTubers. Nobody wants to get in touch with me. How come? What's up with that? Anyways, I've contacted him. He says in this latest thing here that he's going to hold this podcast tonight, and that he knows Thomas contacted him and has hundreds of emails back and forth. He doesn't produce any emails. I'm very big on evidence. I've got bombshell evidence. I'm not going to bullshit to you folks. Okay, I've been contacted by a person, and a person that's very close to, or was very close, I should say, because we've lost our friend here. He was very close to Michael, and that's all I can say right now. I promise I will say more. I'm not pulling your leg. There's a lot of inconsistencies with this story. Not only did I find conflicting reports in the original police report, we have one newspaper that's telling us that after the car accident, he ran into the Best Buy parking lot with the hatchet already raised, running at a car, and that's when the police officer shot him. Then we all know the other story that I've talked about here recently when I first made that first video, where he apparently went after a police officer after the police officer told him to drop the hatchet. Now, oddly enough, the police officer said that he had the hatchet concealed and he was speaking to a person sitting in the vehicle. That's right. Thomas was standing outside, or Michael was outside the vehicle, speaking to a person that was sitting in their vehicle, and he was concealing the hatchet. So we know that the police officer came at him from a distance and had lots of opportunity to take his time, position himself. It's not like he was stuck up close and had to shoot him. So there's much more than that. You know, and a few people here mentioned that he was killed on the assassinated on March 3rd, which is the third day of the third month, 33, Illuminati number 100%. And they also pointed out how he was killed on the 28th. So I don't know what Illuminati card this is. If anyone knows, please, I've made a plea here for everyone to join up. We need a real truth troop, because we're not getting it here, folks. Okay, and if you go look at on his channel, a lot of good stuff here. Only trust what I say in videos. Wait till you see the bombshell information I have coming. It's going to back up exactly what he's saying here, 100%. I'm telling you, you're going to be shocked. I can't reveal the information right now. I believe they're waiting for the Gainesville Police Department to make sure they're doing an accurate job. And right now, does not look good from what I've seen. Now, oddly enough, he got in this Gabrielle Gifford, and I'm the YouTuber who caught Gabrielle Gifford's YouTube channel with her apparent killer, Jared Lougheed. Yeah, he was her friend. The two of them were friends. It was her and another congressman who were, himself, Jared Lougheed, and another congressman were the only two friends on Gabrielle Gifford's YouTube channel. 6 hours later, after I uploaded the video, somebody got into her YouTube channel and I deleted that information. Now, oddly enough here, we have all these shootings. We have, Thomas did a great job here. Michael did a great job covering lots of them. He's very intricate in his work. He's very detailed, and I'm not going to stop with that. I'm hoping you're going to join us here, folks, because, it's all about the truth and how much time you're willing to put into it. So I'm going to finish this up with reminding you that if you're subscribed to me, don't sit there waiting for your upload notifications to let you know that I made a video. I'm heavily censored. I've been told 100 times. You have to come directly to my Connecting Dots 2 channel. Scroll down at the bottom, because I know that when you're subscribed to me, this is not what you see. You see something different. It tells you to watch what's next. I'm telling you what they're telling you to watch next. Always, 95% of the time, does not include my recent uploads. This is the way these people play the game, okay? So you're best to come scroll down and see what you see under my playlist called Recent Uploads. That's kept up to date. The other stuff on top, I'm sorry, I've noticed even my Fukushima Day videos will sometimes take 24 hours before they show up in the list. What's up with that? It's called censorship. So if you come to my Connecting Dots 2, or my other channel, Connecting Dots 3. Remember, don't sit there. You got to come and join up, folks. Take care.